All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So week 2 is here of the regular season, and look, I gotta be honest, right? I was watching week 1, like all those games on Sunday, and of course the Jets on Monday night, and I was thinking to myself, like, I can't believe the regular season is in it's in full swing. Like in that first, like I want to say, like through the first half of the first slate of the 1 o'clock games, like I was still in like preseason mode, and it took a little bit to like kick in that like these games are, this is the real deal here. But anyway, the New York Jets are 0-1, taking on a Tennessee Titans team in Tennessee that's also 0-1. You take a look at that game, right? We all know what happened in the Jet game. But when you look at their opponent, again, the Titans, 0-1, but you really felt like they controlled that game and they gave the victory to Chicago. Of course, credit Chicago, right? They seized the opportunities when they presented themselves, but it really felt as though Tennessee just gave the game away. Right, you can talk about the 2 INTs from Will Levis. You can talk about the strip sack on Will Levis, not really having much of a threat through the air. The punt block return for a TD, which gave Chicago. I felt like to me at least, that's what really sparked the momentum going the opposite way. I felt like the Titans were going to win that game. Right, they were in full control through 3 quarters of that football game. Really, the majority of the third quarter. Right, then you kind of saw the Chicago Bears start to come back a little bit, but the Titans are interesting. I really feel as though Tennessee had one of the most intriguing off seasons out of every team in football. Why? Because they have a brand new head coach in Callahan. They have a relatively young GM in Carthen, top 10 pick. And most of the time, whenever you see an organization do something like that, right, a quarterback going in a year 2. They typically start the rebuild, right? Let's trade our vets, let's clear money, let's add draft picks so the new regime can start handpicking their own players out of college. The Titans said, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna zag, we're gonna double down. Let's win now. Let's sign veterans. Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, trade for L'Jarius Sneed, sign Calvin Ridley, sign Tony Pollard. Let's build upon what we already have here, right? The DeAndre Hopkins, the Skoronskis of the world, right? The Harold Landrys of the world. This Titans team is chock full of veterans, chock full of talent, especially on the defensive side of the football. I mean, again, and of course, right, we do have to take it with a grain of salt. They did play a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams in his first game, so it's not like you're going up against an Aaron Rodgers, a QB that's seen a lot. But just from a talent standpoint, you feel pretty good. I can't speak for every Titans fan, but you feel good about every level of the defense, right? The defensive line, Sebastian Day was making plays. Again, Harold Landry, Jeffrey Simmons is in the mix, one of the best defensive tackles in football. You get the linebackers flying around, and then, of course, guys in the back end. Amani Hooker had a fantastic day. I believe he led the Titans in tackles against Chicago. So the point is, the Titans are hungry. Again, they gave the game away. They're 0-1. I really feel as though everybody within that locker room, everybody within that organization is chomping at the bit. They are excited / anxious to get back on the field and prove everybody wrong, right, in front of their home fans. It's their home opener, and it's the Jets' second road game in a row here. And then, of course, we have the Patriots on Thursday, right, short week at MetLife Stadium for the Jets' home opener. But as far as this game is concerned, right, what can the Jets defense do to have success against Will Levis, Tony Pollard, and this Callahan-led offense? I think first things first, our defensive line, it starts up front. The defensive line has to perform better. I mean, you want to talk about just not showing up. We could not stop the run against San Francisco. We could not rush the passer against San Francisco, right? Brock Purdy had all day to throw. Christian McCaffrey doesn't play. I was feeling really good before the game. Jordan Mason just goes crazy running for 100+ yards. Our tackling, I felt like, was poor. I felt like our safeties got exploited at times. We had guys miss time, right? Michael Carter got hurt. CJ Mosley got hurt. Sauce Gardner got the air knocked out of him, so he missed a section of time. So you listen to Solon in his in these press conferences since the game. He sounds totally confident that the defense will be fixed. And again, it starts up front, right? If we cannot get after Will Levis, that's going to be an issue. I love Brock Purdy, but when you compare physical traits, Brock Purdy to Will Levis, Levis pretty much ticks every single box, right? Mobility, arm strength, body size, ability to get north and south, put his shoulder down, truck somebody over. I mean, Will Levis can throw a football through a brick wall. If you want to give him 4 seconds of time to sit back there and throw, yeah, he can really make you pay down the field, right? He can put intermediate passes on a rope. As opposed to, Brock Purdy, where, yes, these guys are getting open, but the majority of all of the passing plays are in like the short to medium, as opposed to deep shots and that longer part of the intermediate range. And look, to be honest, if we start this game and we're not getting in the backfield as far as a pass rushing, from a pass rushing standpoint, and we also cannot stop the run, I would not be opposed to blitzing. I know it's not really what the Jets want to do. It's not something that they, enjoy doing, but you have to affect the passer. If you aren't getting the job done with your front four, your 4 down linemen, you have to figure out, you cannot just throw your hands up and say, well, this is our defense and it's not working today. Can't do it. Cannot do it. I felt as though, I know it's early in that game one. I felt as though there was a chance that we can maybe see a couple of blitzes dialed up on 3rd downs coming out of halftime. Didn't happen. San Francisco went right down the field. It felt like no adjustments were made on the defensive side of the football. So again, I'm not opposed to blitzing if it comes down to it. I'm actually a big I love blitzing. And again, it's just something that the Jets don't really do, so we don't really talk about it all that much. But as far as the Jets offense is concerned, really I want to try to focus on getting other playmakers the football. I felt as though in that week 1 performance, it was Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. Garrett, of course, racked up some numbers, which was pretty sweet, but you could tell that there was an obvious mission to get Garrett Wilson the football. I think it's going to be a little bit different this week if L'Jarius Sneed is following Garrett Wilson around the field, right? If he's doing a good job, I don't want to go as far as to say if he's locking him up, because Garrett, I think, can have success on many corners in football, but if he's giving him fits, or Garrett's not getting open as much as he typically would, to me, I think there needs to be some play designs for guys like Malachi Corley or Tyler Conklin or Mike Williams down the field, potentially Xavier Gibson, Braylon Allen too out of the backfield, right? The Jets, I felt like they brought in so many weapons this offseason, and or have guys that did pretty good given the circumstances, right? Tyler Conklin and Garrett Wilson check that box, right? I mean, they both put up solid stats with poor quarterback play, poor offensive line play, and a poor play caller. So if we can get these guys involved a little bit more, I think that would be really beneficial. I think it's worth noting that the Titans defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson, actually, we know him pretty well. He was the DB coach for the Jets back with Todd Bowles. He runs a pretty in-your-face style of defense. The Titans are really excited to see what he can do, as far as dialing up pressure. I mean, this defense is physical. So I think it's going to be a great game. I have the Jets winning, for what it's worth. I think the Jets take care of business. Now, I'll say this. This is the last thing I want to end off on. I do not want the team to overlook the Tennessee Titans. Right? I think week 1 should have been a wake-up call. It should have been, a moment to where Saleh and I say Saleh because he's the the head coach here. It should be kind of a look in the mirror type of moment. You know what? We lost a multi-possession game to my old team, the 49ers, on Monday night. My defense got gashed. We got to turn that around. We will turn it around. That's the mindset that I want to have, but at the same time, not, oh, we're better than these guys. Oh, we should get the win. Oh, Vegas is saying that we're whatever it is, a 4.5-point favorite, or all these people are picking the Jets to get back on track. The Titans are it's a sneaky group. By the way, there was this comment by Jermaine Johnson regarding Will Levis. I just kind of felt like it's pointless to say, right? Actually, here's the quote here from Rich Samini over on Twitter. Edge Jermaine Johnson on Titans QB Will Levis. He's a talented athlete and can throw the ball pretty well. But just watching film and just understanding some things about him, especially when he comes out, he's one of those guys that when things aren't going his way, he kind of can panic a little early. Personally, I don't feel like the Jets are in a position to be throwing negative comments to, opposing teams. Imagine if this was flipped, how we would feel as Jets fans. Like, say, for example, Will Levis met with the media and was asked about the Jets' defensive line performance against the Niners. And Levis is like, oh, yeah, Jermaine Johnson has some talent, but he was stonewalled pretty much all night. So, we could probably, if we do the same thing, he's not going to be a factor. I would take that as kind of bulletin board material, and I'm not really a type of person to really put a lot of stock in a little quotes and whatnot like leading up to the week, unless it's like a big time rivalry. But I mean, that would kind of tick me off a little bit, right? So I don't know. I just don't think we're in a position right now to be, again, throwing negative comments. We have to walk the walk. At some point, we got to walk the walk. And again, I do think we will do that this week. I hope we get back on track. And I'm confident that the Jets are going to take this one away, walk away, leave Tennessee, leave Nashville with the W, but they actually have to go out and do it. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.